Welcome back into Tapped Out with my guy Brendan Tobin on the sports machine, Sean Levine. And now we bring on the highlight. Justin Gaethje joins the show. And I've always wanted to ask you this. What as a guy that's named the highlight, and it's very apropos, the most exciting fighter in the game. What's your favorite highlight of your career so far?
Mm, maybe my knockout over Barboza. That was a sweet one.
I thought you were going to say James Vick, but that one was pretty nasty in and of
Yeah,
itself, man. I mean, you're known to finish the fights, known to get in there and have absolute wars. I just got back from Denver, by the way, and I could barely breathe, man. We went skiing up in Keystone. I couldn't survive. How much does the training out there help you when you get to elevations that aren't like that?
yeah, I think it helps with your confidence for sure. I mean, putting all the work in, at that high altitude really, make helps you believe that you're in as best shape as you could be leading into these fights. That's confidence is everything. So I think that plays a big part.
I thought one thing that was crazy, Justin, hearing Rafael talk this week is that he said he couldn't even enjoy London because he couldn't get this fight out of his mind. I mean, like, what does that say to you that you've put such an impact on your opponent's minds that they know basically when they're stepping in there, it's going to be hell?
Yeah, I bring the dog out of every single opponent I ever had just because for that fact alone. If they watch any of my fights, they know, I don't give up. You have to finish me to win this fight. So, yeah, he's saying my name a lot. Um, seems pretty emotional. So it's definitely not a good trait to have when you're stepping in there.
Where does that style of fighting come from? Because from the minute that I first saw you, I was like, damn, this dude just puts his head down and meets the dude in the middle of the octagon. And it's been that way ever since. Has that just been a trait your whole life?
Yeah, I would say so. Anytime I compete, I'm just max effort all times. There's definitely some method to the madness, but yeah, it's how I fight.
What's the closest anybody's gotten to like get Justin Gaethje to change his style? Like, was there ever a point where somebody sat down and said, Justin, like you could do this a lot easier? I mean, but
Yeah,
it's
I think my coach Trevor, the only one that I would ever really listen to, and I've definitely, done that. I think through the Tony Ferguson fight, through the Barboza fight, through the Cowboy fight, just put a little bit more patience and a little bit more calculation behind the madness. Um, so I'm definitely trying that. That's the plan. But when you get hit in the face really hard, you just go into a fight mode sometimes, and that tends to happen every now and then.
Justin Gaethje joining us here on Tapped Out takes on Rafael Fiziev, UFC 286 on Saturday night. So yeah, like you said, man, Fiziev's been talking a lot. I think I heard him say he was going to take your heart and then he was going to eat it. That sounds very explicit. Why are you not the talker that he is?
Oh, I think I was when I was in his position. I used to talk a lot of, but the longer you do this, the more you understand that you know trying to influence your opponent is a waste of energy. I think he's wasting a lot of energy um, thinking about me instead of just thinking about himself.
Justin, right now at the point in your career, everybody always wants to tune into your fights and find you unbelievably entertaining. We know that, but having a couple cracks at the belt and having a chance to be champion, what have you learned, I guess, of those pursuits that has you prepped for like this next pursuit of the title?
Yeah, I think it's just really never changing who I am based on my opponent. I really when I really focus on myself, I find the most success. And I think moving forward is part of my game plan, part of my overall fight method. And I think in the Habib fight, I really tried to take kind of I was on my back foot way too much instead of just kind of meeting them in the middle. I mean, the best chance of stopping shots is by meeting force with force, with your hips. So I think moving backwards, it's kind of hard to create that force whenever they do take those shots.
Obviously, with John Jones winning last week, the GOAT conversation comes up, but you just mentioned the name Khabib. Where do you think he kind of ranks all time? Got out a little bit early, but where do you think he is kind of in the all time fight game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think if you want to make it by weight classes, he's probably top two or three in the lightweight division.
Was it,
Hard to hard to compare different weight classes
was
and
it,
different.
sorry to cut you off, Justin. Was it that different when you fought him? Like, because everybody talks about sometimes when they fight certain guys, it was significantly different. Was Khabib that different once you guys finally got your hands on each other?
I would say so. I think the biggest factor is, your why is everything, and his why that night was just extraordinary. With the passing of his father, the first fight after that had occurred. I think that was huge, and I think I felt that.
Justin, why wouldn't you let Kamaru Usman buy you some outfits, man? Like, you guys are roaming around London. It seems like he wants to get you all souped up. Why is his style not your style? Why couldn't he convince you?
We obviously have two very different styles. I would have done that if you was going to let me put him in a Canadian tuxedo.
What the hell's a Canadian tuxedo?
All jeans,
Okay.
jeans, bottoms.
What is that relationship like, man? You guys, I've been sure that's got to make, each other better, but being around a guy who's been at the top like him, being at the top like you, two guys who are, the pinnacle of the sport, how do you guys either make each other better or relax in times like this? What is it like being around Usman on a fight week?
Yeah, I think, obviously you walk into the octagon alone, it's you and your opponent, and nobody else is in there to help you. But, knowing that he's going after me, him knowing that I'm going before him really brings a sense of calmness in the fact that, we're not really alone. So there's always that.
Speaking of experience, and you can ask Brendan, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass, Justin. When the odds came out, I texted him and I was like, hold on, Gaethje's an underdog in this fight? What the hell's going on? It is the BetQL network, so we can talk about it a little bit. Do you care about that at all? Do you look at that? Were you surprised you were underdog?
No, I didn't really. I saw it earlier today. I was the underdog versus James Vick, coming off a loss. It's the perception, so it is what it is. Hoping to go out there and win a bunch of people some money.
What is the reception been like out there? Because we always hear about the UK fans. It's a crazy thing, like walking around the streets of the UK. Have you been blown away by the reception there?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar. The farther away from the United States that I go, the more popular I seem to be. So people love fighting. It's the biggest sport in the world, worldwide. So it's cool. It's cool to come from such a small place in Arizona and get that recognition throughout the world.
Can you expound on that a little bit? Like, fight culture, all the places that you've been to, is there a different level of, I don't know if respect's the right word, or appreciation for the things that you guys put yourself through? But
yeah,
we see that in America, a lot of keyboard warriors out there and things like that. Internationally, do you feel like the respect is much greater than maybe in the US?
Yeah, definitely. I went to Morocco, and yeah, that was crazy how I went through I don't know what the market was called, but it was a big ass open market. And yeah, the guys, when they would see me, they would just light up and, they start shaking. And yeah, it's cool to get that recognition. It's definitely much more appreciative than, say, being in the States.
Talking with Justin, the highlight Gaethje, for a couple of more minutes here on the BetQL network. He fights against Rafael Fiziev on Saturday night, UFC 286. Bro, I've always wanted to ask you this, and I just rewatched the highlight of your fight versus Michael Johnson. How the hell do you land that flip at the end? And did you think about just saying screw it after that fight?
No. I mean, I've been doing that since I was a kid. I mean, I'm just falling with grace, trying to land on your feet. But the crazy part about that night is there was a pay-per-view the next night. So there was an addition to the top there, so there was space. Usually it's a hard surface and there's not space to push through. But when I got up there, I didn't realize it before, obviously, but when I got up there was room for my feet to not be planted. If you see the cages, pretty much every event, there's just a hard surface up there. And yeah, that was not the case that night, and I had no clue.
Oh, I'm climbing my ass back down. No way I'm still flipping. I'm climbing right back down. I'm done with that.
Oh, my mom getting pissed at me for a long time for that. We used to do it at church, anywhere, off the house.
Does mom get upset about the way you fight? Because I mean, we talk about coaches, but your mother has to look at the way you fight and she watch your fights. How does that go for mom watching Justin Gaethje do what he does, which is be the king of violence?
Yeah, I mean, she's watched me compete since I was a child, and it's her fault. I might get some of my athletic ability from my dad, but I get my my mind from my mom. She's a competitor. You do not want to compete against her.
What is the thing, Justin? When you are in in the octagon with somebody, when do you know you got them? Like the thing where, you know, you're always trying to break these guys. Is there a moment early where you feel like, I know that's the thing that's going to start breaking them down? Is it a moment where it's like usually a violent exchange? Like typically, when do you feel like, I know that I'm getting to this guy and he's going to will?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're fighting at this level. I mean, back in the day, there was maybe those scenarios, but at this level, I mean, you watch Usman and Edwards' last fight. I mean, if he, you know, you just can't think that, because it's always, when the fight's going, it's dangerous and anything can happen at any time. That's why we all love this sport so much, and so you really just cannot get caught up in that.
So do you prefer these type of fights where, you know, a dude like Fiziev is willing to bang with you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's preferable. Yeah. But I mean, I think he's gonna try to take me down eventually. So yeah, I think with this sport, you just gotta be prepared for everything. You know, gotta be confident in all your skills, and the preparation is key.
Justin, we appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much for giving it to us. We can't wait for the show this upcoming weekend. Go get his fight on ESPN Plus pay-per-view and enjoy it, man. Healthy rest of the week, and we can't wait to watch the show.
All right, thank you guys. Yes, sir. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, bro. Take care.
Later.